Hello to everyone who happens to stumble across this. I haven't uploaded to this channel in a very long time, but I figured I'd resurrect it from the dead on this one occasion because this is something I have to vent and rant about. This will probably go unseen, but I frankly don't care. I have to get this out there because my blood is genuinely boiling over the whole Charlie Kirk situation. If you somehow live under a rock and haven't heard the news, which I can't fathom how that'd be possible at this point, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while attending an event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. He was on his American comeback tour, and UVU was his first destination. I don't want to break down the whole thing since it's already been so extensively covered, so I'm just going over a brief rundown. Anyway, while doing one of his prove me wrong bits, he was shot in the neck around noon on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Panic ensued, everyone fled the scene, and Charlie was rushed to a nearby hospital in critical condition where he was tragically pronounced dead. What makes it all the more eerie was the fact that he was being questioned on gun violence right before the shooting took place.
Do you know how many mass shootings there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
The shooter, identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, waited on top of a nearby building roughly 200 yards away before firing a single shot that would hit Charlie in the neck and tragically cost Charlie his life. It's been several days at this point since the tragedy unfolded, and I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with the reality of the situation. Tragic doesn't even remotely begin to describe the awfulness of this situation. Throughout my 25 years on this space rock, there have been a lot of celebrity deaths that have impacted me. Some of those deaths include the death of Paul Walker in 2013, the death of Robin Williams in 2014, the death of Ken Block in 2023, and several others. However, the death of a celebrity or someone I never knew has never affected me as intensely as the death of Charlie Kirk. I never knew the guy, yet it feels like the death of someone close to me. The death of Charlie Kirk is the first time a celebrity death has genuinely put me into tears. The deaths of Paul Walker, Robin Williams, and Ken Block were sad, but they didn't affect me like the death of Charlie Kirk has affected me. Paul Walker died in a horrible car crash, Robin Williams took his own life, and Ken Block died in a snowmobile accident. All of those things are tragic, but it's just not the same. Charlie, on the other hand, was mercilessly shot in cold blood because a deranged lunatic of a college student didn't like Charlie's opinions. Charlie debated peacefully, with respect, and let everyone speak their mind before engaging in civilized, rational, and most importantly, respectful debates. I've seen so many false narratives spread all over the internet that Charlie Kirk was some terribly evil racist, fascist, who condoned violence and advocated for the stoning of gay people, among other things, all of which is factually untrue and a total defamation of his character. He was a man who stood for God and lived his life trying to get people to see the light and escape their sick and twisted delusions. It baffles me that saying there are only two genders is a radical, controversial statement to make when it's an objective fact. If you're born as a man, you will always be a man, and vice versa. You can grow boobs, have long hair, speak in a feminine voice, dress like a girl, but that doesn't change the fact that biologically and on a DNA level, you are a man. There's no changing that. It's the same thing the other way around. The fact that saying that in this day and age can get you canceled and outcasted by society is absolutely sickening to me. So many people have this idea that because you disagree with one's practices or beliefs, it means you hate said person on a personal level, which simply isn't true. You can love people and show kindness towards people while not agreeing with one's practices and beliefs, and that's what Charlie did. He never viewed himself as above someone else or superior than someone else because the person in question had opposing views or acted in a way that Charlie didn't agree with. He engaged civilly and lovingly with these people and reasoned with them in a respectful manner to show why their line of thinking was flawed or incorrect. He never viewed anyone as lesser than himself and was all about peaceful and civilized debate. He never condoned violence and never wished harm against his opposition. He was all about peaceful, civil, and rational debate. The fascist, racist, or violent picture that so many people have painted of Charlie is completely and totally false, and it makes me angry to the greatest extent of the word. There's a quote that people often toss around of Charlie saying he didn't believe in empathy, but that quote is tossed around without context and used to paint Charlie in a light that's totally bogus. If you actually read the whole quote, rather than what people have grossly taken out of context, you'd know that what he was saying was that instead of empathy, people need to show more sympathy, which allows people to feel for the tough circumstances another person is going through while maintaining clear thinking and judgment. But, of course, the people who have this false, hate-filled narrative about Charlie conveniently leave that part out. It's absolutely enraging. What's even more enraging are the vile and absolutely abhorrent comments and videos across the internet of people who are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk like he was Osama bin Laden. It's absolutely despicable, and I hope those people are able to escape that vile fog and see the error of their ways by acting in such an evil manner. No one, and I repeat, no one, should be murdered over their opinions and beliefs. It's as sickening gets. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has now set a precedent that you can't freely express your opinions and beliefs without the fear of some deranged lunatic finding you and ending your life because you said something or believed something they don't agree with. It's also quite ironic that the side that's all about peace, equality, and understanding is the same side that mercilessly took Charlie's life, all because he expressed his opinions and beliefs. That's all he did. That's literally all he did. He expressed his opinions and beliefs, and in a peaceful manner, mind you, and that was grounds for a demon disguised as a person to come along and end Charlie's life. It is infuriating. Charlie was taken out for speaking the truth, and unfortunately for Tyler Robinson, he failed in his mission. The death of Charlie Kirk has only further expanded his movement and further amplified his voice, and people aren't going to back down. This can't keep happening. Something's gotta change, and it will change. These evil, wicked people will not prevail. And to everyone who watches this, be on your guard. These evildoers like Tyler Robinson show up in the most unexpected places. I used to live nearby where Charlie was assassinated. I lived less than 30 minutes away, in fact. I resided in that area from 2013 to 2017, and generally speaking, that area is very safe and full of very nice people. So to say that I'm shocked by this whole tragedy is an understatement. That's the last place on earth I would have expected such an abominable act to unfold. You never hear of stuff like this happening there. It's not like Charlie was debating in the ghettos of California or in an area riddled with crime. He was in a town dominated by Mormons who wouldn't dare kill a fly, let alone assassinate a fellow human. I'm in total shock, and it's unbelievably eerie knowing how close I used to live to where Charlie was assassinated. I never in a million years would have expected a travesty as terrible as this one to unfold in that area. I can't put into words how tragic this whole thing is. A wife is now widowed, and 2 young children left without their father, all because a deranged lunatic of a college student didn't like what Charlie had to say. And not to forget all the hundreds of students who witnessed Charlie get assassinated, who will now be living with lifelong trauma and PTSD from watching such a horrific event unfold in person in front of their very own eyes. It's vile, despicable, and absolutely abhorrent on every level. I'm disgusted and sick to my stomach, and shame on everyone who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. Those people are vile monsters. I could go on, but I feel like I've said enough. Thanks for watching, and until next time.